Ooh, I just had an advert for Hobby Maker on my YouTube. At least it was relevant this time. Anyway, good evening everybody. Hi to everybody on the tube. I can see we are live and working properly on the tube. So let's just see if we are. Here we go. Let's just see if I am on Facebook. Here we go. Come on Facebook. Be kind this week. Be kind to me. Right, let's have a look. So Facebook, I can see we are live. I can't see any comments. So, no. Facebook, be kind to us this week, please. So let's just see why I can't see any comments. See all. No, I can't see any comments on Facebook. And I know that some of you are already there. I've got no idea why it's not showing me the comments again. Oh, I did do a Google afterwards. Anyway, good evening to everybody who I know is there, but I can't answer you on Facebook, but I can on the tube. So good evening to everybody. There's too many of you there now for me to go back. Let's have a quick look at the comments. Blah, 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 blah. Sunny Somerset, it's the same here in Nottingham as well. What a fabulous day after all the rain we had the other day. So good evening to everybody. Let me just try. No, it's not showing me again. Oh, that's just so bad. Let's do a refresh on Facebook. Does anybody know why I can't see any comments? Because I can't figure out why. It's just very, very bizarre. I've got lots of grey lines but no comments. So I'll have to just apologise to you again on Facebook. Somebody needs to try and find out for me why it's not showing me. Oh, I can see. Oh, Julie, SJ, Karen, Pam, Chrissy, Annette. Oh, so I can see some comments now. I might just need to refresh my screen frequently on Facebook for it to show me the comments. So let me just see if it's, before I start, I'm just going to check my settings on Facebook. Could comment everybody. It's not giving me any options for changing everything. So the last comment I can see on Facebook is from Julie, so I maybe just need to refresh my page all the time. But anyway, I don't know why. I will investigate further and see if we can find out why this is happening. I assumed it was something to do with my cache, like clearing my cache or whatever you call it, but I did that and it's still not showing me. So it is what it is. I can't do anything about it. It's just very frustrating. Anyway, so I'm going to carry on as if you know what I'm saying. Well, you do know what I'm saying. I just don't know what you're saying back to me. So we've got a fabulous demo planned for tonight. I thought it was time to get the chalk paints out because we've not used them in forever. And we've got lots and lots of lovely new followers who may have not seen me use these. I am going to do a masterclass with these on Hobby Maker soon because I'm very aware that I've just not had time. And this is something I spoke to Hobby Maker about last autumn, about doing, you know how we have 2 shows a month, making one of the shows a masterclass show where it's more about education, teaching you how to use the products. We always have a new release every month, as you know, but I really we've got so many gorgeous products now that I need to have time to show everybody all these lovely things. And that's hopefully what we're going to do. So that's quite good. So tonight's card, I put in my description as clean and simple as I can get. Well, it's not. It is and it isn't, because it's not clean and simple in the purest sense of the word or the truest sense of the words, but it is for me. So you can all see the comments on Facebook. It's just me. Now, I'm just going to try something. Facebook, just bear with me for a second. I'm just going to try something on Facebook just to see if it lets me. No, it's not letting me. No, it's not letting me, so I can't do that. I will try it after. I'll try it after the live. I did clear my cache. I did a Google last week after we had all these issues with comments on Facebook last week, and it said that I needed to clear my history, my cache, which I did do, but it's clearly not made no difference. So I can keep refreshing the screen, which then updates the comments, but it's not giving me the live. It's not giving me the live comments, which is an absolute pain in the neck. But hey ho, it is what it is, and we'll just crack on as we always do. Just see if there's anything at the bottom. Just bear with. Turn those off. Let's just try that again. I'm trying everything I possibly can. What does this button mean? Continue. Full screen. Hide comments and reactions. No, I want live caption. No, I don't want that. I want to see the comments. Anyway, right, we'll crack on because otherwise I'll end up swearing at the computer. So we're going to do, it's the first Monday of the month, and I remembered, which is very rare, that this is the one where we do the monthly layout challenge. So this is actually a really good way for me to show you all this. So we are using the monthly layout. So if you're a member of our Facebook group, you will know that we have a monthly layout challenge. This is our April challenge, where it's a little bit of a mojo booster. It's a layout for you to have a go at, which helps your brain because it gives you something new, a new layout that you may not have even thought about before. And obviously you'll see lots and lots of ideas from other people in the group who have had a go at this layout. So this is said layout. Now remember, they are not set in stone, it's just a guide. You do need to follow the format of the layout somewhat. So I am more or less staying to this, but I'm going to, as you would expect from me, we're going to add a lot more detail. So we're going to be using texture medium, we're going to be using a stencil, etc, etc. So I've got my layout stuff already here, and as I said, we're going to be using the chalk paint. So something different that we've not done for ages. Thank you for the thank you for the 20% discount. You are absolutely welcome. So just a little reminder that our we've currently got the Easter discount running on the website, and I think that expires at midnight tonight. So basically, Karen will have to tell you, basically you get 20% off your basket automatically when you check out. You don't need to put no codes in or anything like that, and I think it's if you spend, it's either 20 quid or 25. So if you spend 20 or 25, whichever it is, when you check out, you'll get a lovely 20% discount off your entire basket. And that's off things that are already obviously on the website. But it's a really good opportunity to buy things that you wouldn't normally get, like the big dies, etc. that I'm using tonight, and get a fabulous 20% discount. It's not to be sniffed at, is it? I am still coughing, as you can hear, and I am still a little bit chesty. I'm now nearly 3 months in with this, so hopefully it's on its way out, because I do feel better, but I'm still very croaky. I sound like Rod Stewart. Apologies, Rod, if you're watching. So this is my layout. I've already got it already put together to give you a rough idea of what we're going to be doing. So there's lots of things. The good thing about the monthly layout challenge is it gives you an idea and how you embellish it, how you decorate it, the different kinds of things that you put on it is entirely up to you. I 100% wanted to use the chalk paints tonight. So I'm going to show you the colour palette, because I've got a set of 5 which is called the Dusky Hues set. In fact, I'm going to show you now. So Karen, if you're watching, will you pop links on for me please, so it saves me having to do it. So if you're new to our chalky paints, it's one of my all-time favourite products ever that I've done. It's just such a versatile product. So little 20ml pots that last you for ages because they are so highly pigmented, and the chalky finish, if you know me, is one of my favourites. So these have been in my box, but so you can see I've scratched them a bit. But this is the Dusky Hues set, which I'm using tonight, which gives you Rain Cloud, which I absolutely love, the Rain Cloud. Frosted Heather, which is like a gorgeous milled lavender colour. You've got the Dove Grey, which is a very pale grey with a hint of blue. And then you've got the Vintage Petal, which is absolutely stunning. And I'm going to use this tonight and I'm going to make it paler. I'm going to show you how to do that. And Clear Sky. These are the two that I'm using tonight. Oh. Decisions. Now, I love this colour palette, so it's really hard to know which two to go for because they all actually work very well together. No, I'm going to stick to my... no, I'm going to stick to what I originally planned, which is Vintage Petal and Clear Sky. So the chalk paints are such good at coverage. You can see I've done them on black card and on white card. Run them through your stencil, stipple through them, mix them with water to create a watercolour paint with a chalk finish. Add them to your texture medium, which is what we're going to do first. So all your inky backgrounds and everything like that. Basically anything you can do with an ink pad, you can do with these paints, but you get that gorgeous chalky finish. So I'm going to put all my flowers back in my tub. So all my bits are going back in my lid. I am going to show you everything as I use it, because I'm very aware that I go quite quickly and it's hard to keep up sometimes. So I'm going to pause and show you everything that I'm using as I use it. So first things first. Oh, they're my broken glasses. I don't need them just yet. I'm just leaning over, bear with me a sec. Oh, come on. I've got too much stuff. Right. So, with that fabulous 20% discount, if you haven't got the double pierced rectangles set, this is the time to get them, everybody, because they're almost gone. When I looked at the stock sheet earlier, I think it said 41 or 42. I won't be restocking these, not anytime soon. So if you haven't got the double pierced rectangles, this is a really good opportunity to do it and save 20%. So on my little description for the video, I've told you it's an oversized A5 card. So this card blank that I'm going to make here is using the largest of the dies, yeah? So we've got that lovely pierced detailing all the way around it. And the reason it's an oversized A5 is because the second die in, I've got no fingernails, the second die in is actually true A5. So this die is a true A5 size. So all these layers here, look, all these matting and layering rectangles will fit perfectly on an A5 card blank, or indeed create your own card blank. I'm using the largest one because I like big ones, as we know, but you could literally make your A5 card blanks from this die set, and then you've got all the matting and layering covered, which however many you choose to use, even down to the little ones. So Betty, I don't know if you're watching, Betty, but in our Facebook group I saw a comment from Betty saying she'd got the double pierced, one of the double pierced die sets, but she was confused because when she cuts them, you only get the piercing ones. So Betty, I hope you're watching, because I'm going to explain this to you. So the way it works, you get the double oops, I've just dropped that. Oh, and I've just run over it with my chair. You get the double piercing when you use two dies together, love. So if I show you the dies close up, you can see that you've got the cutting line, and then you've got piercing dots on the outside and the inside of the cutting line. So what that means is, if you just cut a regular shape, just one die on its own, you will get the piercing on the inner edge as per. But if you create frames with them, obviously you're going to get the inner die from the largest one, and you're going to get the outer die from the smallest one, which is what gives you that fabulous double pierced effect. Otherwise, you wouldn't, if I just did it on the inside, you wouldn't be able to get the frames like this. So I hope that makes sense to you. I'm just going to say it one more time before I move on. If you haven't got the double pierced rectangles, get them now, especially because you're saving 20% with the Easter sale. So create a card blank. You can do this from any of my dies, as we all know by now. You just cut two the same size. I've started to do this every time I do a live. I tend to use my dies, as you know, for all my card blanks now. I just don't buy card blanks, there's no need to. So we're going to score that about 1/2 centimetre down. Look at the state of my mat, I do need to treat myself to a new one. So about 1/2 centimetre, maybe just a little bit more on the back. So this is the panel that's going on the back. This is going to be the back of my card blank. So do make sure that your piercing detail is face out. There's no point having this lovely detail to then put it on the inside of the card. You want it face out. And then just glue at the top. If you can get your glue to work. I'm just going to stab it with the hat pin. Call yourself a professional. Well, actually, I don't. So another top tip for this, in case I've not told you this before, put your glue on, but then just pat it down a bit. And that just stops it from seeping out everywhere. Then stick your front layer on, line it up, stick your front layer on, and then just pop that to one side and let the glue do its job. So at this stage, if I just turn that round, there you go, you can just see my score line. So at this stage, don't fold that. Just put it to one side and let the glue dry before you fold it back. We'll do that shortly. So I've got all my little bits here, and I want this little tiny rectangle. So I'm following the monthly layout. I am going to bring this in, so apologies if it blinds you, because we're going to be doing, actually I'll do it on kitchen roll. I'll do it on a bit of kitchen roll, just to save your eyes being dazzled. I will need to use the mat later when we start using the paints properly. So I want to create, oh, nearly did it on the wrong one. So this little rectangle is part of the design from the monthly layout, and the flowers that I've chosen are my delightfully dotty daisies. So I was looking for a dotty stencil. Now this one is called Distressed Dots or Shabby Dots or something. Can't remember quite which one I called it, but it's one or the other. And we're going to add a little bit of texture paste in that lovely Clear Skies paint. So just so you know, I'm just going to refresh Facebook again, just so I can see what you're saying. It's driving me mad. Somebody needs to do some research for me and tell me why it's not showing me all my comments. It drives me scatty. lovely Lynn. Lynn's just said on YouTube, I've made a card today using the new burnt sienna and soft peach, lush colours. Right, so we're using the clear sky, which is you know me and blue. It's a beautiful pale blue. So, with the paints, obviously, I can go in with my stipple brush if I want to, and I can stipple through that with the paint. But I'm going to add a little bit of texture medium to this. So the texture medium, I only need a little bit, look, because it's only a small piece. I'm going to put this on my mat and just bring that in so you can see what I'm doing. Oh, you can just see what I'm doing there, just in the corner. So I've got my mat there with a little bit of texture medium on. So this is the regular texture medium, which will dry glossy. So if you don't do anything to this, if you don't mix anything in it, it will dry proper glossy. Now we're going to add a little bit of the chalk paint. So what happens is, it's very clever. What happens is the properties from the chalk paint, i.e. the chalky finish, will subdue some of the glossy sheen. So it won't be too glossy. I'm just going to take a little bit, look. So that's all, in fact that's too much. That's all I need, this little bit at the tip of my spatula. And I'm going to mix that in with that. So what we've done now is we've made our own texture medium in the clear blue, clear skies colour. Which, you can't do this with all paints, you just can't. It's the quality of the pigment in these. So can you see that, look? If I just bring that in, look, and show you. How fabulous is that? So we've now got our own little texture paste in the proper colour that we want for this project. I'm just trying to make sure these dots are straight. You're not going to see loads of it. So I'm just going to run that through. And it was far too much, look, but hey ho. Let's see if we can get some extra texture. I'm just going to stipple. Because if you stipple it while it's still on, it creates a secondary texture. Just bear in mind I've not stuck the cardstock to the... Come on, get off. Marvellous. Marvellous. Now I've done this first because obviously we need it to have time to dry. So we've now done that, look. We've created a clear skies texture paste by adding just a teeny tiny touch of the paint to our regular texture medium. I'm just going to pop that on the side. So already we've taken the layout and we've changed it because it doesn't say anywhere on the layout to use texture medium or a stencil, but I wanted to, and you can absolutely do that. The monthly layout challenges are brilliant for giving you new ideas and different layouts that you've maybe not thought about before. So let's just get rid of that, clean that up. And that was easy peasy. I can't reuse that, so I'll just pop it there. Dry that up. So it's all about textures and things for this card. It's not going to be lots of colour, which is why I chose the dusky set. Sorry everybody. This is why I ordered the dusky set. I wanted the dusky set because it's got the lovely subdued colours. Right, so now we're going to move on to the frame. So this frame is also, obviously, this was the middle one. So the 3 layers on the layout, let me just show you again. The 3 layers on the layout, look, the 3 rectangles that are here. So I've done the largest one as a frame. So I've done the largest one as a frame. The waist from the inside of that is going to create my second layer, and then the small one that we've just used the texture paste on is for here. So I want to add some splats to this. So we're going to pop this in the inky box, and we're going to create a little bit of paint. We're going to create a little splatter in the same colour. So again, if you're new to my chalk paints, yeah, you need to just remember you only need a tiny bit. Tiny bit. I tend to use what's in the lid. Now I'm going to be honest with you all, I've not used these for, oh crikey, 3 months. 3 months or something like that. It might even be longer. And I haven't shaken mine up. But if I just show you, look, that's been sitting in my craft room for 3 months, and it's perfect. So I would probably tell you to shake it. I should have known better, but there you go. Hey ho. So a little bit of paint on my mat. Little bit of paint on my mat, just a tiny bit. You can see it there. We're going to add a little bit of water. I've done 4 little sprays there. And then I'm going to mix that. Oh, that's dirty from last week. Oh my God, Phill Martin. You absolute minger. Can't use that because it's gone green, because the colour was still on the brush from last week. What a minger. Don't tell Leonie, she'll never let me forget. So let's get a clean splatter brush. That's too big, that's too big. Have I got a smaller one somewhere? This one will do. Clean splatter brush. Let me just make sure it's clean. Let me just make sure this is clean before we start. See, I am human after all. Yep, that's clean. Is it? Yeah, that one's clean. We'll start again. So a little bit of paint, different brush. Always take it from the lid where you can. Oh, there we go. That's better. So we've now created our own watercolour paint using the chalk paints. Now, what makes these different, I need you to know this. So if you're new to the paints, I need you to know that what makes these different to ink pads is that you'll get that lovely chalky finish. So even though I've watered that down considerably, look, we will still get a lovely, fabulous chalky finish when it dries, which I think is really rather marvellous. And that's actually more than I needed. So I'm just going to splat this. Just bear in mind that if you've got splatter brushes, the bigger the brush, you either need to tap away from your cardstock before you splat it, otherwise you'll end up with big splats, and I want relatively small ones. I will bring this in and show you in a second, just so you can see what I've done. It's just details. It's all about details. So the majority of my card for tonight is going to be white. That's really rather fabulous, Phill. Let's just put that in the water. So I've literally just done that in my inky box, and I'll pop that to one side and let that dry. Look how subtle it is. If you haven't had any of the chalky paints before, I would definitely recommend the dusky set, because you can change the colours. And I love the greys. There are 2 greys in that set. There is the Rain Cloud, which is one of my all-time favourites, and there is the Dove Grey. And the Dove Grey has got a slight blue tint, a very pale blue tint. It's so classy. Right, so let's just put that to one side. Put that to one side. I'm going to bring in some fresh kitchen roll. I'm not doing anything to this middle panel at all. I may stamp on it, but we'll see. We shall see. And now we're back to the card. So my card blank should now be dry. It is. So now my card, the glue's dried. I'm just going to fold back on the crease. So I've now created an oversized A5 card blank, and it obviously works portrait or landscape. You can't not have these rectangles. This is why I keep going on about it, because once they're gone, even if I do restock, it's going to be ages away. Ages and ages away. Right, so now bringing in the layers for our card. So I've got the next layer down. Is that the next layer? It is indeed. So this is the next layer down, and then the next layer down again. So on the top panel, on our little layout. Oh, let me just do this for you. I did a new. There you go. Look at me getting all fancy. I might not be able to see what you're saying to me on Facebook. But I can ask you to still do that. Let me just check again, see if Facebook has... Let me just... Yeah, an oversized A5 is not going to have an envelope size unless you make your own. Or make a box, yeah, absolutely true. But some A5 envelopes are bigger than they need to be. So you might just get away with it. It's not massively oversized, so you might still get away with it. I'm just trying to figure out if I can make this. No, I can't. It's just doing it every single time. So there's not a lot I can do about it. Right, so again, using the double pierced rectangles. Looking at the comments on YouTube, it looks like they've all gone. So I've got one layer here, and then I've got the next layer down, which I've used the Ornate Circles 3D embossing folder on. But I embossed it the other way around, so we can use the reverse side of this embossing folder for this. And then I've cut myself a smaller pattern. So if I just put this together and show you the rectangles, I may do a set B of the double pierced, because we're missing the in-betweeny. We're missing the in-betweeny layer, so I may do a set B at some point, but I will keep you up to date on that. So I've created myself a small layer to go behind that. I'm running out of space in my craft room, which I know will probably surprise you. And we're going to do two jobs at the same time here. We're going to do the little strip, and we are going to do Vintage Petal and Clear Sky, which is an odd combination, but it works really, really well. It's very stylish and very elegant when it's done. So we're going to stipple the edges of this, and the same with the border. The border that I've got here is from the Beautifully Beaded collection, and then this is just a waste offcut that I'm going to put through the middle. So rather than stippling onto the actual border itself, we're going to stipple onto the border, onto the strip. So we're going to do two jobs now. We're going to, I'll just shake this because I've not shaken either of them properly. Can't see no comments. I bet Chrissy's had a look for me. Chrissy, I bet you've had a look, haven't you, why we can't see the comments on Facebook. Oh, you'll have to send me a message, Chrissy. I can't even turn the subtitles off anymore. Could you add them to a water? Yep, absolutely you can. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to carry on. So a couple of my stipple brushes, old ones. I always tell you that old ones are the best. So once they start to get a little bit rough around the edges, that's actually a good thing. We're going to stipple around the edge. So the two colours that are going to be on this card are the Vintage Petal and the Clear Sky. So we're going to have a very fine, tiny border in these two colours. So one of the advantages of these paints is that you can mix them. You can change the shade of them. So this reminds me of Victorian velvet, this colour. This vintage petal. It reminds me very much of Victorian velvet. Now if you want a paler version of that, you can mix it with a little bit of our white gesso. So the properties of the white gesso are the same as they are with the chalk paints, which means you can mix the two products together and create lighter shades of the same colour. So I'm going to use the lid. I just need a little bit of scrap. Let me just grab a scrap piece of card. That'll do. I bet you don't know what I did with this piece of card. It's got all my rectangles in, look. So this is just so I can check that my brushes are clean before I go on. Oh, look at this lovely colour. It's very Victorian velvet. Let me show you, look. It's gorgeous. So we're going to go on with the darker colour first. Now you are only going to see a little bit of this. So I'm just going to show you how much, because it's only tiny, look. So I don't need to add loads, but that little bit will add a big impact on the card when it's put together at the end. So always take off the excess and then just lightly stipple. If you've seen me before, you will know how to do this. So by doing this, we're adding a little bit of texture. I'm going to do it on here because I can die cut this once I've finished it. In fact, I might do that for the sentiment. That's a good idea, Phill. So I'm going around with the first colour. I honestly don't know how much, well, A, if we've got any, and B, how much we have of the dusky paints. Because I never thought to check. I just chose the colours that I like, as you do. So I'm just literally stippling around the edges. This is one of those trust the process things where you look at it and you think, oh my God, what is that? What are you doing, Mr. Martin? But trust me, it will be fabulous when we've finished. And it's also the best way to create a proper colour match for your projects as well. And it makes use of all that white cardstock you've got sitting around at home. So I'm just going to do the same with this strip. I know I don't need the whole strip. You can stamp with the paints as well, by the way. You just need to be quick before it dries. The very nature of chalky paints is that they dry with that lovely chalky finish. Hopefully you can see that. So I'm just doing a little stipple. You can see I'm not trying to fill it in because we are going in with the blue as well. Just check that I've done enough on there. Just check that I've done enough. I'll do a little bit more just to be on the safe side. This bit here, I'm going to die cut this when it's finished. So I'm not going to clean this brush because I'm going to use it again. And then we're going to move on to the clear skies, which is this beautiful pale blue colour, clear sky. So let's just make sure this brush is clean. Oh, look at that colour. This brush is clean by some small miracle. So I'm just going over where we've already been. So I'm not trying to fill it in, I'm just trying to make sure we get hints of both colours. I've done the darkest colour first, which is the Victorian petal, the vintage petal. And then when I stick these two layers together, it's going to look awesome. Trust me. I'm too busy worrying about getting that right. I am going to die cut that when we're finished. So this is the quality of these paints, that you can do this. The lighter colour over the dark, it's just very, very clever. Anybody can do this. So now we've created this fabulous two-tone textured background. I'm just going to make sure I've gone in far enough. Oh, that's so lovely. So lovely. And then I need to do the same on the strip. I might do less blue on this. Yeah, that will do. We'll leave that there. I'm just going to do a bit more daubing, use the paint. That will do nicely. I'm going to keep that because I'll die cut that later. So we've now got these strips. That's dry already, by the way. So this is dry already. It's one of the other advantages. And I'll pop this to one side without doing that. I think we might splat that with the petal before I move on. Let me just do that. Let me just do that, everybody. I wasn't going to. I was going to leave it, but I think I am going to just splat that so that it's got the two colours to match everything else. You know I like things to coordinate. It's just enough. Oops. I think most of that went on my hand. Let's just see if I've done enough. Oh yeah, that's fab. That's lovely. I'm happy now that they coordinate better. That can go in there. This can get wiped up. And then we'll carry on with the flowers. So, the flowers. We're going to do two things with the flowers. Actually, that's a lie. We're going to do three things with the flowers. We're going to dunk. We're going to dunk them, and we're going to splat them. So we'll do them all at once. So I've chosen here the delightfully dotty daisies. And the only reason I've chosen these is because they're my favourite of the daisy sets that I've done. And I haven't used them for ages. And when I was looking for something else earlier, I came across my delightfully dotty daisies. And I thought, yes, it's time to use them. So I don't think we've got any of these left. If we have got any of these left, you'll be very, very lucky. These are the ones, look, that give you the debossed dots. So again, anybody who's doing the links for me, because I can't see what's happening on Facebook, I'm going to stop doing Facebook, or unless I can find out why it's doing it. Yeah, you can paint with the paints, Heather. So if we have got any of the delightfully dotty daisies, it would be a miracle, because they are from a couple of years ago. Right, I'm just going to put these back in order, because I'm going to do some in the blue and some in the rows, and then splat with the opposite. So just bear with me, I've just got to make sure I've got them right. Double, double, that's for the bottom. And that's for that, that's for that, that's for that. So one is wrong. One is wrong. It's this one. It's this one. Sorry, I've got to get them right. No, I'm missing a daisy. Here it is. I knew I got them. I knew I got them in doubles and trios. So I'm going to do the big one and the little one in blue. The big one in blue, two of these in blue, and the rest in vintage petal. Right, so we'll do the blues first. So we're going to put some mat on the water on the mat, some paint on the mat. Don't need loads. You can see this is an old brush, look. Spritz it with water. Clean kitchen roll. I'll just put this at the side. This is just to put the wet flowers on. Mix it all up. Add a little bit more water. Perfect. That's the perfect consistency. It's basically a chalky watercolour paint. And we're going to drag these through it. So I'm not trying to cover the whole thing. We're just trying to add some colour. We're not covering the whole thing. It doesn't matter if there's a bit missing. We're just dragging through. And the same with all of these. Look how easy it is. In fact, look how much paint is still left over. Oops. It helps if you don't put them on the kitchen roll the wrong way up. So this is the only colour that is going on this card. The only colour is coming from the chalk paints and not from any ink pads or anything else. It's all coming from the paints. And because they are lovely soft colours, you can't really make a pig's ear of it. And then we're going to do the same with the vintage petal. Vintage petal is a hard one for you to see on the mat. That's probably enough. I'm just doing a little bit more just in case. So vintage petal, a little bit more water. I don't know whether you can see on my mat. I can see that that's not wet enough. So remember when you saw the blue a couple of minutes ago, you could see that it was quite fluid. And that's basically what we're trying. There you go, that's better. We're trying to achieve this fluidity, this very liquid state. And you can see that the colour is still absolutely gorgeous, even with all that water. And that's why these paints are just so phenomenal. So we'll move some of these just so I can get the other colour on. And one of the benefits of using the dies with the debossed dots in for the flowers, the paint will sink into the debossed areas and it will look really rather marvellous. So I'm just going to do the same with these. Let me do the big ones first. So just drag them through. In fact, no, that'll do. It could have done with a little bit more water, but I'm going to do it. You can tell. So once you drag your flowers through, you can tell whether it's liquid enough, whether it's wet enough. That's better. Remember as well, I mean, I'm not tonight, but obviously what we've created here is a watercolour paint. So you can literally use this to paint images, stamped images, etc. Do you know, I've got no idea what time it is. I haven't even looked. This is me in my comfort zone. So if I just bring you this in now, I want you to just take a quick peek at that gorgeous colour. And then we'll look at this when they've dried properly. Ooh. So clean them out. And then we are going to stamp over that with am I going to stamp over it? Hang on a minute, is that what I was going to do? Yes, it is. We're going to stamp over that with the distressings. So I can see there I've got Victorian Velvet, which is a slightly... Well, do you know what? I might not do that. I might not do that. I might splat in opposite colours instead. Right, so whilst we're just waiting for that to dry, we are going to stamp our sentiment. And I am using, and again I apologise because I don't think we've got any of these left. I am using the heartwarming, the Duet Collection stamps with the coordinating dies in the heartwarming because I want for you. So on the layout, which is now buried underneath a load of stuff. On the layout here, look, it says little circle there for your sentiment. Well, I've cut the circle, but I'm not going to use that for my sentiment. I'm going to sit my sentiment on top of it. And it says use embossing powders on your sentiment. You don't have to, but we are going to do tonight. So I've chosen silver. So I've chosen from our super fine range the pure silver. Get a drink, Phil. You've been talking for an hour and not had a drink. Oh, I bet this is freezing. Oh, it is. Yak. Yak, yak, yak. So I'm just going to choose the For You. And we are going to stamp and emboss this in silver. And then remember that scrap that I said to you I'm going to die cut that. So this scrap here that I said I'm going to die cut, that's going to be the background for my sentiment. So we are using embossing powder, so I would always recommend you use an anti-static bag. It's just for the sake of what they are. They're about a £5, and they last for years. I'm not using a stamping platform. I'm just going to do this by hand. I always say to everybody, for your sentiments, so for words, so for sentiment stamps, particularly if you were doing something small, like the just saying sentiments, it would always be Versamark. Always be Versamark. I tend to now keep perfect medium for all my dirty jobs, like if I'm pushing grey board into it to add embossing powder. But for my nice clean jobs, i.e. sentiments, it would always be Versamark. So let's get a load of this on. I think that's been Versamarked within an inch of its life. So we'll pop that on. I've got to remember I need to leave enough space around this for the die. And I think I remembered to plug in my heat tool. I should have a bit of paper somewhere for my catcher. So this is a very technical piece of kit. I don't know whether you can probably run to it. And I've chosen silver just because silver goes nicely with the vintage petal and with the clear sky. So rather than black. Top tips, I forget that people might be new to this. So when you're adding embossing powder to your, particularly with sentiment stamps that have got lots of detailing, You'll see that I've just held it and gone like that with my powder, but I'm also going to turn it round and do it from the other side, so the powder will hit from both sides of the inking. And if I just show you that there, look, you can see that not a bit of that's been missed. So just remember to add your powder and then rotate your sentiment stamp and then do it from the other side as well. It just means the powder is hitting the Versamark from 2 different angles. So if there are any gaps in there, odds are the powder will find it. And we will heat emboss this. Oh, I did remember. Aren't you impressed that I remembered to plug my heat tool in before we started? So for sentiments, for those of you that have never seen me do this before, I always heat emboss my sentiments from underneath, yeah? So you need to be a good couple of inches, you need to be a good 6 inches away like that, look. No, a good couple of inches. And none of this wiggling malarkey. You need to turn your heat tool on, let it warm up, and then just start in one section, and then as the powder's melting, just follow the heat tool, follow the sentiment with the heat tool. So apologies for the noise, I can't do this without any noise. So I'm just allowing that to warm up, and I know it's warmed up, so it's burning my neck. So I'm a couple of inches away. Let's see if I can get that on the camera for you. I'm starting with the F. There you go. And I'm just working my way along the image until it's all melted. Like so. So if you do wafting like this, what it means is the heat is just not fixed anywhere and it's not going to melt the powder evenly. By heating from underneath, this is a personal thing for me, you get a lovely smooth finish look with your embossing powders, as opposed to doing it from above, which melts the powder quicker, and I don't think it's as smooth. If my mate Julie is watching, she will tell you it doesn't matter, nobody cares, just get on with it. But I'm a bit fussy, as you can probably gather. So I need the dies for you, which are here. So I'm going to bring in that, and I'm going to just run over to my die cutting machine just so that I can do this live. Oops. Have you noticed I've learned to say oops? So those of you that know me well will know that when I say oops, I actually mean something else. So I'm just going to secure this in place with a bit of removable tape, or I am if I can find the end. Oh, I hate this stuff. So let's just find a nice bit that gives me a bit of both colours. Oh, and a bit of white. Oh, that's spot on, look. Spot on. And then for the sentiment, it's the smaller one. And I would always do this after doing the sentiment. I've got the wrong glasses on, and I'm pretty sure somebody's been shouting me all through the live. And it's only because I've come to do this, and it's close, that I've realised that I've got the wrong glasses on. Silly boy. So let's just make sure that's straight. I'm just going to run over to my machine and die cut these. That was the floorboard creaking, just so you know. I don't want you to think it was me creaking. So, oh, there you go. So that's the sentiment for you with the lovely silver superfine embossing powder. I'm just going to put the dies where they belong. This is why this stuff drives me mad. I don't know if anybody else has had the same issues with the Scotch tape, but it drives me mad. Just tearing, look. I throw so much of this stuff away, it's unbelievable. And now we've got this messy bit, which is now going to give us a... Oh, look, I can reuse that. It's now going to give us a proper coordinated backdrop for our sentiment die, which is really rather marvellous. I don't know whether we've got any of these left. These were the limited edition ones, so these were never on television. So if we have got any of the heartwarming one, I love this. So it's got "So grateful for you, have a lovely day, a note to say hi to someone special for you, congratulations, love and hugs," and then you have all these little tiny sentiments in between as well. Yeah, so you can create more than what it says. And I think it's probably time for some new duet. Not just yet. Pretty soon, but not just yet. So just while we're waiting for this, we are going to pop that on there. Oh, that's awesome. It's awesome. Let's just get a clean one. Mr. Martin. Let's just see if Facebook's decided to... No. Absolute bagger. Absolute bagger. Something. So Facebook is quite far behind as well now, which is just really sad. But anyway, there's not a lot I can do about it. Make that bigger. I'm just trying Facebook again, everybody. Just on the off chance that by some small miracle it's decided to work. And of course it hasn't. Interesting. It's very frustrating. So I'm just going to pop this on with a little bit of glue gel, just so I can raise it up a bit. And we'll pop this to one side until we get to the end of the demo. And then that should have set enough for me to put it straight onto the card. This is when I wish I'd got fingernails. I do want it raised, but I don't want it too high that it looks weird. Let me just check that. Yeah, being naughty. Oh, that's marvellous. Hang on, I've squashed it too far on this side now. That's me with no patience. Look how fab that looks. Let me just get a bit of white card again. I'll just show you, look. So we've now got the background look that coordinates with the flowers and everything. How fab is that? I know I'm faffing, forgive me. It needs to be right. That's it, I'm going to pop that there. So later when I'm looking for the sentiment, just tell me it's on my shelf. Right, we are now going to check our flowers and see what state they're in. Oh, look at these two colours together. That's lush, 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 lush. Now, I'm tormenting myself now because I was going to stamp colour for colour. So, obviously Faded Jeans is a darker blue and Victorian Velvet look. Although it's a very good match for the paint, it is a shade darker. Do you know what? I think I am going to do it. Oh, Saz has just messaged me. Sorry everybody. Most relevant filter. Facebook often defaults to showing only most relevant comments. Click on the drop down menu next to comments and change it to all comments. Now I haven't got a drop down menu next to my comments. And there I have, so it can't be that. Sorry, Saz has just given me sent me a message of what she's found when she's googled. Can't see your face, come on. Hidden via swipe. You may have accidentally swiped to hidden. No, I haven't. Clear the cache, which is what I've done. My internet is stable, so it's not that. No, it's not that. Ensure your live is set to public. Now, how do I do that? If you're using a third... I don't use StreamYard. Thanks, Saz. I'll read that properly later. Saz has just sent me a text with lots of info on. Just bear with me while I just decide what to do. Because I think I'm going to stick to what my instinct was. So just bear with. Bear with. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong stamps. That's the right stamps. Just got to get the right one. There you are. Oh, that's a new one. That'll do. That'll do. I must already have one of these out somewhere, but saves me looking. We'll use a new one. Right, so when I was prepping this originally, I had planned to use the little Dainty Doodle Dots stamp. So the Doodle Dainty Dots, which is teeny tiny dots that will obviously coordinate with the debossing detail on the flowers, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to do this by hand. So I'm not trying to make this particularly neat. I just want some extra dots in a slightly darker shade on these flowers. Oh yeah, that's spot on. Oh yes. So my instinct was right. Fabulous. It's just texture. It's just really subtle texture. Clean that off. And then we'll go in with the Faded Jeans. Now, Faded Jeans is a lot darker. I could have done this with tumbled glass, but I like Faded Jeans, so that's what we're going for. Yeah, that's lovely. So again, I'm not trying to cover the whole flower. It's just little bits of texture. And dots on dots looks really rather fabulous. I'm going to pause for a drink in a minute. Now, who would have thought that you could use an ink pad over a paint? And the finish on these, you probably can't tell from the screen, but the finish on these flowers is they feel like velvet. Look at that. That's the other bonus with these paints. Just wipes off. You don't see me doing dirty jobs. Well, not if I can't clean myself after. That sounded wrong, didn't it? But you get what I mean. Right. I'm glad I did that. That's right. I did the right thing. So now let's start looking at this and putting the flowers together. Which means I need to bring in my foam mat. I'm going to put the flowers together first before we get on to the putting the card together. So here we go. So if you, I mean, Carol's just super excited. Oh bless you! You wanted the paint. So the paints are a whole new level, and I'm just going to show you these. I got these out when I was getting my paints out. So another way to add really fab texture with these is to use your kitchen sponges. So you know the scoury side, if I just bring that in, they are, look, it's instant texture. So you just put a little bit of paint on your mat, dip the sponge in, and then just dab. So if you don't fancy the idea of stippling around the edge, well, you can do it with the sponge. It's a win-win-win. Right, we're going to do one flower at a time. I'm doing white pearls, so the white pearls will coordinate with the rest of my card. For this book, using your coffee warmer, I am, but for some reason, the coffee warmer, for some reason, has started turning itself off. It never used to do that, but for some reason it is. And of course, I've never stopped talking for an hour or more. Right, so I am doing these daisies as daisies, so I'm not twisting them or doing anything else to them. So my top tip for daisies, I love daisies. It's years since I did them. When did I do these daisy dies? Let me just find my die set. It's one that's got the massive daisy in, look. They are, look. So you've got this massive 9 centimeter one. 9 centimeters all the way down to 2 centimeters. And for anybody who, I don't think we've got any, but for anybody who has got these, the reason I did the great big ones is because you can curl them in to look like chrysanthemums, and they look stunning. These were done, look at that, look, 2021, so it's 5 years since I did any daisy dies. I wonder if it's time for some new ones. Anyway, so top tip, particularly with daisies, only shape the tip of the petal. So don't go all the way in like we do with most flowers, just do the tip of the petal. And then when you put this flower together, it will curl in quite nicely. And you can do that on all of these daisies except for the very small one. And the very small one, you would just have to do the whole thing. So I'm just going to do that, and that, and then put these together. This is like the old days where it used to take me forever to do a demo, but when I put this together, you'll love it. Oh, look how gorgeous these daisies are. I love the dotty daisies. I'm glad I've got 2 sets. There's something very traditional about the daisies as well. It's like old school, but the fact that we've got these with the dotty detail, so we've got double dots on these, don't even need a stamen. If I just bring this in and see if you can see this, if I angle it properly. I've got the wrong glasses on now for this. Can you see, look, we've got dots from the stamp, so random dainty dots, and then we've got the debossing detail in the flower as well. It's just fabulous. Fabulous. And we're going to pop a little pearl in there. The other good thing about the paints is they are colour fast, so the glue won't affect them. So just pop that there. Then we've got 2 like this, 2 like this. I'm just trying to remember what I did when I was putting these together. So tips. So now you've just seen me use the paints for texture paste. Oh, I better have covered that up. Oh, let's see a look. Look. So can you see if I bring that really, really close? So rather than being super glossy, super shiny, it's almost like a semi like a semi-gloss. Oh. Oh, thank you, Saz, bless her. She just said there were some videos on the tube about fixing not being able to see the comments. Thanks, Saz. I shall look when I've got a fresh coffee. So these are just duos. Just duos. Oh, hang on a minute, I think I've gone wrong. 1, 2. Yeah, I've gone wrong. It's very rare I do single base layers on a flower, which is what made me question myself. Very rare, so it is a double. The only time I do single layers really on a flower is if it's a fat or a chunky flower. Right, we are getting somewhere, trust me. Don't nod off. Then this one is another double. Oh, I've already shaped that one. And then I should have 2 singles. So with this small one, look, there's no way you can just do the tips of the petal. So I just shape the whole thing. This is the quickest I've done these flowers. Don't you just love a little daisy? I'm glad that was my tweezers and not my pokey tool that's just fell on my lap. I will check the comments later for those of you that have given me comments and I've not been able to see them. And then this is just a little double. Oh, bless you. Right, here we go. Oops, upside down. I've got to do it upside down. I am being very rough with these little ones. I had a lovely message from a lady who had watched one of the YouTube videos afterwards, and she was asking me about what I use to make the flowers, which cardstock I use. So I only use our own cardstock for flowers, and I would always recommend, unless you're conscious about weight, I always prefer to use cardstock than paper for flowers, because they hold the shape better when you put them on the card. So that's the blue ones done. We've just got to do that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Just got to do the, look at that colour now, look, it's absolutely stunning. It looks quite dark, doesn't it? It's because it's a vintage shade, but it's stunning when it's dried. So we'll just speed through this. And the telly been absolute rubbish over Easter. Not that I've had a chance to see any. But I have watched the snooker, which was as exciting as it got for me. It's funny, you know, looking back, when we were kids, my dad used to watch the snooker, and we used to think it was so boring. So I've turned into my dad. I quite like the snooker. And things that when you're a kid you don't appreciate, but as an adult you do. Like I'm more like my dad than I care to admit, like with Star Trek and things like that. Imagine so is Karen's Karen's got the same taste. Let's just do the other one before we put the pearls in. So I am going to, you can see that I've put extra glue in there just for the glitter. And then we can start the assembly, which is when you see all this work coming to fruition. So them two are together, these two are together, or these three. These two are just a little duo. Nearly done. I've got to say as well, everybody, in the paints we've got a couple of proper yellows as well. So if you were making daisies that you want to look like daisies, real daisies, you could do the centres with the yellows. We've got banana, custard. Oh, lost the patience with that, so it's just been bad. No daisies were harmed in the making of this card. Yeah, there's banana custard and there's or something custard, and there's another one with banana. There's two proper yellows. So let's put that on. So a little bit of excess glue in the centre means I can dunk these in the Diamond Dazzle, and then the Diamond Dazzle will stick to the little bit of extra glue. So we're not covering these daisies with glitter, we're just having a little tiny bit in the centre. We're getting somewhere, Let's do that first. So Diamond Dazzle. A little bit in the middle. We can leave these to one side now, you see, while we start assembling the card itself. I don't know why I'm doing it with my hand, I never do that. So we've now made our own little double dotted daisies, which is really rather marvellous. Just from a couple of chalk paints. A couple of chalk paints and the daisy die set. It's marvellous. Right, here we go. Back to the card itself. So that's our card blank. This is my layer, and that's for my border. Right, so this double pierced one is going onto there just with glue. So I'm putting no glitter on the layers. Because we've got that lovely paint on there. And oh, that's just fab. Look, it's just a little hint of the two colours that are on this card. It's fabulous. You'll see it better when I put it onto the card blank itself. So let's just get this on. I'm going to snip this with my scissors. Oh, I would have done if they were here. So that means I've used them for something and I forgot what. So we're not doing it with the scissors. We're doing it with my fingers. So let's put this card together. Now that's going to bug me because I can't remember using my little scissors for anything. So that is going to annoy me. So just to remember, the card blank, so the card blank that we've created from the rectangle dies, the crease, come on lights, there you go. So the score line needs to be at the back. This is a really easy card, so if you're going to have a go at this, just set yourself some time to make the flowers with the paints and do your stippling. That's the only time consuming bit. Oops, I've just stuck my finger in that. In fact, do you know what? I don't normally do this, but I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on. I don't normally do this on the base layer, but because it's a card, it's a proper card, we'll get away with it. Just in case I need to lift this off. Just bear with me while I bring it towards me. Oh, that's so gorgeous. Now, I don't know whether you can see this, because it's such a small border, it looks really, really elegant. Oh. It's fabulous. I love that. I wonder if I can turn this into a card for my mum. It's my mum's birthday. I hope you're not watching, Mum. Then we've got the embossed piece, which will have glitter on. And remember, I'm using the negative side of this embossing folder. So just remember, let me show you, just in case. I always assume everybody knows everything, which is wrong of me. So this is the Ornate Circles 3D embossing folder. Yeah. So if you want to use the reverse and you're using the pierced dies, put it in the folder with the piercing face down. So if I show you the back look, you can see that it squashes some of the piercing. So because we wanted to use the other side. So if you do it the other way around, it keeps the piercing detail quite nice. So if you're wanting to use a negative, rather than chuck it in the right way up, do it the other way around. It's just one of those things you learn. Usually trial and error. Sticking to my fingers. So here we go. And then you can see this all come together. And then when I put it next to the printed layout, you'll see just what a fab layout this is. And it can be turned into just about anything. So I've obviously gone with daisies and a pretty card, surprise, surprise. But this layout will work for anything, for men's cards, for Christmas cards. It's always a good idea to keep a printout of the layouts like I do. And then if ever you sit at your desk like we all do, and you think, oh, I don't know where to start, get one of your printed layouts out and have a go. So let's just pop this on. I love this embossing folder. I'm going to show you again. Because this embossing folder, if you haven't got it, it's one of the most versatile ones that I've done. So the positive side is like quilted circles. And then the negative side is like raised little pretty flowers. What a win-win is that? It's almost like two folders. And I'm teasing you now, but I'm assuming we've still got some. And for those of you that are in the Facebook group, when I asked you earlier, should I use something that you can't get till August? Now, Jean, I know you'll be watching. So, firstly, hello, darling. And the reason I haven't is because Jean said if she can't buy it, she don't want to see it. And I thought that was hilarious. If I can't buy it, I don't want to see it. And I thought, oh, bless you. Well, I'm not going to upset Jean. Right, so we're going to put the border on. So this is the beautifully beaded border. Again, I don't know whether we've got any or not. So I'm going to go edge to edge with the painted one. So I can see I need to just snip it just after this little thin one here. I'm going to do this with big scissors to try and keep it a little bit straighter. So just a little bit, I'll go on that piercy bit. So now that should fit. Oh, that's marvellous. I'm going to keep that because waste not, want not. And then we're going to pop our little painted strip. So do you see how it's all coming together, everybody, now? So this little bit here that you thought, oh my word, Phil, what is that? Look how fab it looks when you put it on there. It's free texture. It's just free. So I'm just putting some glue down the middle of there. I'm not going to put any pearls or anything on that until I see where they need to go when the card's put together. Make sure that's straight. I love these borders. I bet we ain't got any. Just making sure it's straight before the glue sets. Right, I'm just going to leave that to set a bit. Before I move on. So we need our doodah, our little frame. So we have this frame. We have the plain one, and we also have the texture pasted one. Yeah. So this one is going on with, I'll do it with glue gel just to be a bit quicker. Gene, it was hilarious, it made me laugh. If I can't see it, if I can't buy it, I don't want to see it. Facebook, I'm just going to try you again. Enter full screen. Oh no, not full screen. Normal screen. No, it's just showing me grey lines. So the reason I'm doing this with glue gel is just so that I can squidge the heights. So I can play with the heights on this. Whereas if I did it with foam tape, it would be one height and that would be it. So this will be squidged down a bit. And you can see this all coming together. This is why I love the monthly layouts in the group, because it just gives you an instant idea. So it saved me today having to think of a different layout for you all. But it's also given me, oh, look how gorgeous this looks. It's also given me the scope to add more or less. So I'm just going to squidge that down a little bit. One of the advantages of the glue gel. And I'm just trying to make sure that it's the same distance. It's the same gap there, look, as it is there. I will just put my glitter on the embossed piece. I forgot. I'm just going to put the glitter on the embossed piece before I carry on. Otherwise it'll be too tricky once I've finished. Because there's going to be a fair few bits on this. Do you see what I mean? So all those who saw me at the beginning show you the two colours. And you think, oh, I don't know whether they go together. Look how fab they look. And that's without mixing them with any white gesso to soften the colours. You can also darken the colours if you use a little bit of our black gesso. So the world is your oyster. And I'm having a lovely time. I like demos like this because we're using lots of different techniques, lots of different products, but it's all still very achievable, and you don't need to be daunted with this kind of project because it's easy. or it is when you've got all the products. There we go. It needed that little bit of bling look at the back, so let me just make sure that's straight, because if that's not straight once the card dries it will bug me. Just bear with me. Just make sure it's straight. That's the only thing you need to watch with the glue gel, making sure that it's not kicking up anywhere. Excuse me. And then we're going on with the plain one. So the plain one is going just off centre there, look. So I know I need more on this side. And it is always worth having a plain section. Just see how far across that's going to go. Just bear with me. Yeah, so it is just the two sides. I only need to do the two sides. Been quite warm today. I don't know whether you can hear, I've got the fan on in the background. So I'm just going to drop this one down a little bit. So it's slightly raised off the, where are we? Slightly raised off the splattered frame, look, you can see. And then we've got the last one, which is the texture pasted one. And that also is going to come down here, and then I'm going to put the border across, so down this side. So just down this side. We are nearly done, so if you're getting fed up, I'm probably about 10 minutes away. So just a little bit on there, just so that I can push it on. And this one's coming just down here. So again, the key with rectangles or squares is to keep your distances symmetrical, or for me anyway. So this one is the same distance in as it is up. Make sure they're all straight. Oops, make sure they're all straight. Yeah, marvellous. Then the border is going on across that, look. So we're separating those rectangles. We already know it's the correct width because I trimmed it before. Now I'm not going to put pearls on all of these. What I am going to do is put a little bit of glitter on the small ones. You won't see all of this when it's finished, particularly at the end, which is why I'm doing it with glitter rather than using my pearls up. But you know me well enough to know that it will have some pearls on. But I like the 8mm ones on these border dies. It's so easy to do. Don't you just love a die where you can incorporate all the things that you've got already? Fabulous. I've still got my crafty glasses on, which is right. So now glue gel, but this glue gel now is more for squidging in. So the only place I need it raised is at the ends. just stand up to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and cover the bottom part a little bit. Oh, I love this card already. Just making sure it's not skew-iffy because that bugs me. Take it from somebody who uses lots of glue gel. When it dries and it's not straight, it bugs me. So what I've done, look, with the border is I've just dropped it. I don't know whether you can see that. I've just dropped it a little bit below the inner border of that rectangle. You can't really tell, but that's what I've done, trust me. Right, here we go. Oh my God, look at the time. It's like the old days. So now we've got our bits here. So I'm not putting any glitter on any of the frames. This is the circle. Ooh. The circle that was part of our layout. So the circle was part of our layout, look. Let me just bring that in so you can see what I'm doing. I need to, somebody remind me next week that I need to move my camera further down because I've got this habit of bringing it closer to me so you can't see what I'm doing. Just remind me to put pyjamas on. So this is going here. I am joking, by the way. So a little bit of glue gel. No glitter on the circle. I'm keeping it plain. And this is going here. I'm going to try and cover that big pearl space up there because I'm not going to put a big pearl where you can't see it. So just off center. I'm checking the heights again just to make sure it's not going to skew iffy. Nope, we're sorted, we're fine. My bits. We are nearly done. We are nearly done. It's coming together. Where's my... Oh, it's here. So these are my bits. And I've got the... again, I need to apologise to you because I know for a fact we haven't got any of the little furs. It's from Christmas release last year. So I know for a fact we haven't got any of them. I'm almost positive if we have got any of the majestic fronds. I'm sure when I looked last week we hadn't got any. This is the majestic fronds, everybody, which is one of my favourites from the Floral Finery Series 3. So the majestic fronds, look, magnificent fronds, I beg your pardon. Magnificent fronds. If we have got any of these left, snap them up, because when I looked last week, we got like 5 or something like that. So I'm just going to shape these. I'm not putting any glitter on the leaves, but I am on the fern and the dragonflies. So I've got a combination here of twiddly bits. I've got a dragonfly missing. Oh, it's there. The tatty dragonflies, which I know we haven't got any of. If we have, it'll be a miracle. You might be better asking the shop if we've got any tatty dragonflies. So no glitter going on those. I am going to put a little bit of glitter on the little furs. These are from the Christmas release last year, so I know that there's none left. If there are, you'll be very, very lucky. So I'm just going to be a bit rough with the glitter for this. It's the best way to glitter furs. Just be rough with it. And the same on this one. I'm just being quite rough with the glue. Look, I'm not trying to get it. You'd never get it neat unless you use the brush glue. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glitter on the tatty dragonflies. I might just glitter the heart on these. twiddly bits. I'm just going to do the little heart at the end. You don't need to, if you're not a glitter fan, you don't need to put any glitter on at all. Just that in my craft room, Diamond Dazzle is to law. It's the law. So I'm just going to shape these. I'm going to shape them back. I love the tatty dragonflies. Let me show you. Let me show you. I think I've still got mine. Oh, I have, look. Oh, look. Tatty dragonflies. Aren't they just absolutely fabulous? Now everybody knows I love a dragonfly. So 8, you've got 4 solid ones and 4 open ones with the lacy fretwork. And these are even, you can get even smaller than that. So I'm just going to do the tips of the wings on these. Apologies if it looks like I'm rushing, but I'm just trying to get this done before you all get bored. So a little bit of Diamond Dazzle on the tips of the wings. You can layer these up with the lacy counterparts. In fact, Karen, if you're still watching, if you haven't fell asleep, have a look for me, see if we've got any of the tatty dragonflies. And if we have, shove a link on for people. And the fronds. Because I know these are gonna, if we've got any of these, grab them. Because I know they're gonna go. The magnificent fronds. And now we can put everything together and we are good to go. So my daisies are all ready. I'm just pushing them up a bit. My sentiment is ready. My foliage is ready. It's just me. So here we go. Right, sentiment first. Actually, no, I'll do the flowers first. So we've got here a blue one, a red one. Oh, it's not red, is it? And a small blue. Oh, no, that's not right. That's right. So the big one going on first. It's a pity I can't hear you because I know what, I can imagine what you're saying to me. So I'm going to pop the blue one. Now I'm going to put it there. And then we've got a vintage one and a blue one. Vintage, blue. That's right. I know in my head I had little trios. So it's a trio in this part, and it's a duo up here, and it's a duo down there. So I'm just trying to make sure I've got them in the right order. So as ever, the foliage goes on last with me. So a little trio there. We've got a little duo going up here. Little duo up here. Trying to angle them a bit, that's better. The sentiment next, which is going on there. Oh, is that setting off? It has, which is absolutely marvellous. See what I mean about these colours, everybody? Now you can see it all coming together. Fabulous. And very, very elegant. You would never normally put, if you saw these two colours together, you would never put them together, would you? So for you, which I'm sorry, I've just pulled it towards me because I need to line it up with the strip. So I have gone off pieced slightly. Oh, look how gorgeous this is. Two little flowers. Two little flowers. on 4. One's for there. 1 is for there. Just squash that daisy, poor thing. And then the foliage. So here we go. Here we go. The borders, Claire, I'm sorry, the Facebook comments aren't working, so I have to keep refreshing the page. But I'm pretty sure Karen has hopefully popped links on for you all. Thanks, Mel. Can you see all the Facebook comments as well? So foliage on next. Let's start with this one. Which is going down here. The other one's going on top. I'm going to be pulling this all over the place because I need to be able to see what I'm doing. Do you see what I mean about it being mainly all white? And for me, what's fabulous about this is that all this colour, the only colour on this card is from chalk paints and a little bit of the distressings with the stamping. Isn't that fab? So a little fern next. So the fern needs to be in the opposite direction to the foliage. So the fern will be this direction. And the same on the other side. It's just interest. It's just a personal preference thing, that. You all know that I like to have more than one foliage die on my cards. It's just free. It's just a bonus, free interest or free texture, whichever way you look at it. Ooh, nearly made a boo-boo. There we go. 2 in the top corner. The last thing to go on will be the little dragonflies. So 2 in the top corner. I bet the card's dizzy. Keep being spun upside down. So 2 just there. Just trying to angle them a little bit, but not too much. That's it. 2 little leaves. I've got 1 more little leaf here, which is going at the bottom. I've got to be careful with this because there's not a lot of space. So I'll snip the end off the leaf. I'm just going to tuck this in underneath here. Details. Kind of my favourite thing. And then we've got the 2 twiddly bits. We're nearly done, look, nearly done. So the 2 twiddly bits, one's going up there, one's coming down here. Doesn't matter which way they're facing because they are just extras. In fact, I think I'm going to change my mind. Going to have 1 here underneath, and then 1 in the opposite direction. So it is very much true to the monthly layout. I've just added more Now you all know me well enough to know that more is more. More is always more. I'm just chucking that in. Oh, that's so lovely. Oh, it would have been if I'd have not battered that poor border. That's why glue gel. That's why glue gel. Hang on, let me just stand this up. I need to just check it. That's too high up. That's better. And then we'll finish off with the two little dragonflies. So the largest one is at the bottom. I'm going to pop a couple of pearls on before I let you leave me, because it needs to have some pearls. I might leave the border, but it does need to have a couple of little pearls. So we're going to have one dragonfly there. Actually, move that down, Phill, so we can see the twiddly bit. And then the other one, I've used far too much glue gel for that. And I've done the same with this one. So one facing right, one facing left. And because I use too much glue gel, you know what needs to happen. If ever you find yourself in that situation where you've got glue gel where you shouldn't have it, or glue gel where it's going to be seen, just cover it with Diamond Dazzle, and then at least it's pretty. Case in point on the dragonfly, look underneath. So I'm just going to pop a couple of little pearls on. So if I just bring you the layout back in. So I'm not going to put them everywhere. I might do. So when I take a photo of this tomorrow, it might have pearls on the border. But for the sake of tonight, I'm just going to put them loosely where they are on the guide, on the layout. So I want two down here, and I've learned the hard way to put one on first. Oops. And then the other one, rather than putting the glue for two down in one go, because they never line up properly. So two, and then there are two on this border up here, so we will do that. We'll have one there. I quite enjoyed this. I hope you've not got bored, but I've really enjoyed making it. You can always tell because I can't see what half of what you're saying to me until I look back. And then I'm just going to get my Diamond Dazzle back out for one last job, and that is to glitter the glue that's underneath my pearls, and then we are done. And if this doesn't show you how fabulous the chalk paints are, I don't know what will. It's a really, really fabulous product, and I am going to try my best to get a showing at Hobby Maker as soon as I can. In fact, I might even try and do it next Wednesday, do a masterclass show for you. And there we go, everybody. So that is the April monthly layout challenge. Oops, I think I've just tried to phone somebody on my other phone. Using the chalk paints, so the chalky paints in Vintage Petal and Clear Sky, which are part of the Dusky Hues set of 5. So the set of 5, as you can see there just from the side, these are workable palettes that I've put together. So let's just do a little close-up so you can see all the lovely details. Look how fab that texture paste is as well through the stencil. And then we've got the For You, which is from the Heartwarming Duet collection. So this is actually not as high as you think it is when you keep seeing me put all these layers of glue gel on. So this would not go in an envelope. You would need to make a box for it, unless you've got a padded envelope. Well, there we go. We've made the card blank using our rectangle dies. It's just a win-win-win. I don't know if we've got any rectangle dies left, because I know people were popping them in the basket while we were shopping. How fab is that? And super easy to do. Super easy to do. So it was. I'm sorry, I'm messing. I might pop another fern in at the top. It's tormenting me. But there you go. I will endeavour to take a photograph for you in the morning, so you can see. Do you see what I mean? Look how lovely the colour is. It's so fab. Even here, look, where it was just stippled. It's just stippled paint. Anybody can do that. No skill required. But it looks fab. It looks like a textured piece of cardstock. And there you go. I'm not going to run through everything that I've used, because I've been going on for 2 hours and nobody wants to keep hearing that. Oh, I should have put them in the water. Remember, put your brushes in some water. Don't let them go hard like I've done. I'll put this side by side so you can see where I got the idea from. So last things. So just a quick reminder, if you're on Facebook, give me one of the love heart things, even if I've not been able to answer you. I promise you I'll fix that before next week. Facebook can get ready. If you're on YouTube, give me a thumbs up, please. So before I love you and leave you, if you're not in our Facebook group, you can search on Facebook for Crafting with Phill Martin and Sentimentally Yours and request to join our lovely group there. Apologies, everybody. You do need to answer a couple of little questions, like how long have you been crafting? Just silly things. Otherwise, it automatically declines your request. And if you haven't yet, please do make sure you've subscribed to my YouTube channel, which, as you would expect, is called Crafting with Phill Martin and Sentimentally Yours. I couldn't get it all on. So, Facebook page is, look at my cold coffee. Look how much I drank out of that, hardly any. So like and follow the Sentimentally Yours Facebook page, which is where you see most of the main updates. Also our shop Facebook page, which is Honeypot Crafts, which is where you will find out about all the latest offers and deals first. And then last but not least, we've got me on TikTok and also on the Instagram. And there we go, everybody. So Saz, I'm not sure whether Saz is live tomorrow night. I'm just asking Saz before she goes. And then Saz will... I'm just waiting for a reply. Oh, do it. Have a go at the challenge. Remember, everybody, this is a challenge. This is a challenge for yourself. It's not a challenge. And somebody always wins one of my big die sets. So at the beginning of the month after, so May, somebody will win one of my big die sets. And I don't judge the work that you all do for the entries for the monthly challenge. I number them. I just number them, and then I use a random number generator to select the winner. So you've all got the same chance as everybody else, as the next person, of winning one of the big A4 die sets. So have a go. Saz is live tomorrow night, everybody. Heather, tell everybody, get a thumbs up. There was 150 odd at one point. Thumbs up on YouTube, please. And Facebook, I promise I'll try and sort it out for you for next week. I might do a test run over the next few days to see if it's worked. So prepare yourself for that. So thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I will take a photo of this for you tomorrow. Or try to. It won't look as good as seeing it in real life, but I will try my best. So thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will chat to you all in the Facebook group. Bye.